There are three main reasons why you should be selling for a sub-buy owner. My name is Jonathan Mills, and I'm the #1 real estate agent in Gainesville, Florida, and I'm here to tell you the three reasons you should consider selling for a sub-buy owner. Number one, and probably the most obvious, you can save a lot of money. The median home sale in Gainesville is around $400,000, and with the average commissions being somewhere between 5 and 6%, you could be saving upwards of $20,000 in commissions by selling on your own. That's no small chunk of change. Number two, you cut out the middleman. You're in control of the negotiations. You don't have to wait for a real estate agent to go back and forth with buyers and yourself. So you can speed up the negotiation process and have a little bit more control of the conversation. And finally, number three, you have complete control. You get to determine the marketing for the home. You get to show the home on your schedule, and you get to call all of the shots. So those are the three reasons you should be considering selling for a sub-buy owner in this market. Now I want to tell you the three reasons you shouldn't consider selling for a sub-buy owner. Happenstantially, they're the exact opposite of the reasons I just told you. So number one, you can make a lot more money. While that is a very common misunderstanding, I want to explain to you why that might not be true. With the average commission being somewhere between 5 and 6%, you could expect to save somewhere around $20,000 to $24,000 on a $400,000 home. The problem is there's usually two agents in every deal, a listing agent who represents the seller and a buyer's agent that represents the buyer. The common misunderstanding that I hear with for sale by owners is they expect that they're not going to pay any commission to any agent. When you list for sale by owner, you're cutting out one of two agents, the listing agent, which is okay. That would save you somewhere between 2 and 3% right off the bat, which is a great savings. The problem is a National Association of Realtors study showed that 89% of homes are sold with a real estate agent, even for sale by owners, which means you have a 1 in 10 chance of not paying a buyer's agent commission. Now, after the recent lawsuit, you don't have to pay buyer's agents commissions. However, you might want to. The reason 89% of homes are represented by an agent is buyers still feel more confident working with an agent, and most buyers can't afford to pay their commissions on top of their down payment. See, that's why commissions have been paid by sellers for over 100 years. People realized this in the early 1900s. If buyers are the ones paying the down payment, it would be hard for them to afford to pay the agent on top of that. So sellers started paying commissions way back when. Not much has changed nearly 100 years later. So, while you might save 2 to 3%, there's another study that was proven that the average home sold by a for sale by owner sells for 5% less than the exact same home sold by a real estate agent. You might be wondering why. It really comes down to marketing. See, the reason my team and I are the #1 agents in Alachua County is because we are a marketing team who happens to sell real estate. We have thousands of followers across multiple social media channels. We create video content, photography content, and we have strategic partnerships with vendors and buyers across the market, including their agents. At any given time, the Mills Group is representing somewhere around 50 buyers ready to buy a home today. With that type of exposure, when you call us to list your home, we already have a pool of people to go to sell your home quickly. The faster your home sells, the more money you make. So, on top of only saving 2 to 3% in commissions, you could risk losing 5% in value by selling on your own because of the amount of time it takes. So, on average, the average commission saved does not outweigh the amount of loss that is experienced when selling the home by yourself. Now, number two, there's no middleman. While that might be exciting for some people, you could back yourself into a hole pretty quickly and talk yourself out of a deal. While trying to connect with a buyer, you might want to tell them more than they really need to know, and you might touch on a subject that's touchy for them because you don't know them. Whereas the buyer's agents and listing agents know the pros and cons of what to say and not to say to a prospective buyer. You might not. And so, in an act of transparency, you might actually tell them something that would coerce them into not purchasing your home and lead you away from a deal. You might also talk yourself into paying for something you might not have needed to pay for in the first place. So, if you don't know the ins and the outs of the 12-page Florida real estate agent contract, you might want to get refreshed on that. Because if you don't know the terms, you might oversee a small little detail that could cost you tens of thousands of dollars hidden in the fine print. I know exactly where to look to find those details, and I find them all the time. If you don't, you could lose a lot of money. And finally, number three, you're in control. Again, that can be very exciting. The downside is you should probably think about the logistics of that. If you want to go out of town for vacation or have dinner with friends, who's showing the home while you're out? Do you work a day job? Are you working from 9 to 5? Lots of out-of-town buyers are only in town during the day looking to see homes. And if you're not there to show them, You might be leaving work or worse, missing out on an opportunity to sell your home. So, if you're not the one showing the home, who is? How do you leave town? The longer you take to sell your home on the market, the less money you're going to make. The beauty of having a real estate agent on your side is they show the home for you while you're at work, while you're out of town. It's a hands-off experience, which saves you a ton of time. So, if we wrap all this up together, the cons in many ways outweigh the pros. You might not make more money, and you're definitely going to spend a whole lot more time. And if time is money, you might be losing on both. And that's why you might want to consider listing with a real estate agent. Here's my last hot take. If you're considering selling for sale by owner, you should call the #1 agent in your community. When you meet with that agent, if you think you can sell the home better than that person and make more money in the sale of the property than hiring that person to be in your corner, list your home for sale by owner. The likelihood of that being the case is insignificant. So do your research, call the top agent in your community, and find out if you have what it takes to make more money than they do. I'm Jonathan Mills, and that's my hot take on why you should or shouldn't list your home for sale by owner.